I have an alpha within that cannot be silenced. How many of you are afraid to allow people to see who you are on a daily basis? At your job, in your marriages, in your personal relationships, even your mere acquaintances. Today I'm called regal, bold, beautiful, authentic, vulnerable, captivated, assertive, cheeky. When I was growing up as a child, it was a complete opposite. It was tar baby, walking pitch leak. Your mother drank this, and that's why you came out so black. I want to take you back in time, where people, they took away my dignity as a child. But I'm first going to show you a glimpse into a very warm, what seemed like a warm tropical country that everybody think was the best place to be growing up. And as a child, that would have been the case. I was born and raised in Trinidad, West Indies. And the skies were mostly blue and it was hot most of the year. And I am the baby of 4 girls. My dad was a truck driver, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom who eventually started working taxi in order to make ends meet. I have always been different all of my life, even within my controlled environment, my family. My 3 sisters were tomboys. I was Miss Prissy. When I sat down, I didn't just sit down. I had to raise my dress and sit down. I always had to wear a belt because I wanted to look like a lady. My sisters were busy climbing trees and scaling walls. My dad was a tall, strong, strapped-in man. Everybody was afraid of him in terms of physical stature, because he commanded a presence. I wanted to be like my dad. My mom, however, she was this petite little thing, but she was so much more powerful than I had imagined. Growing up there was so toxic because every move I made, I couldn't wear colors. I couldn't wear orange and green and yellow like most kids were. Because my complexion, because I was not black, dark chocolate brown, just remember that, it wasn't accepted in my country. You see, when you look around this room, most of you actually look very similar in terms of complexion. I am typically the darkest person in the room most oftentimes. I still am. And people hated me for it because where I come from, the lighter you are, the more esteemed you are. The darker you are the scum of the earth. You are nothing. You mean nothing. You are nothing. Between the ages of 7 to 9, I couldn't take it anymore. I was highly depressed as a child, so I went to the back of my parents' house. I took a bottle of bleach, and I took this. This is what you use to clean your pots. And I started scraping my skin. As a child, I did not know my skin could not come off. To this day, my parents don't know I did that. because I didn't grow up in a house where people would teach you about empowerment and being confident and telling you that they loved you because of how you are and how you looked. I was just a child. 3 things that defined and made an impact on my life. It was prejudice, it was trauma, and it was success. The first one I just spoke about was prejudice of all kinds. I manifested getting out of Trinidad so bad. I hated that country. I hated what it stood for. Every single person who I walked into a room and had always something negative to say about me. And prejudice broke my spirit and my mind as a child. It broke me. Until I finally had the opportunity to move to New York. I wanted to be a model, but I didn't think that was possible. So when I changed my environment and I lived in New York, I first went as a teen and then second went as an international student. My sister helped save my life. How? She enrolled me in charm school, aka finishing school. You see, when I got to New York, I couldn't walk with my head up. I was physically walking with my head down, my shoulders slumped over, and I couldn't look people in the eye. I didn't know how to make a decision. I didn't know how to be assertive, how to be aggressive. I was a shell. She put me in charm school because I wanted to be a model, and a group of nurses thought that I would because I had the height for it. You see, in charm school, they don't just teach you how to be charming. They teach you how to sit, stand, social etiquette, poise through fencing. Yes, you had to put the books on your head. It taught you also how to take pictures, how to get in and out of a car, how to open a door, close it, how to be a lady. It taught me everything that I know today. That is what helped increase my self-esteem. But it didn't stop there, so I was on my way. But the universe had a different plan for me. So I'm getting confident, and all of a sudden, the day I'm supposed to go and sign with Essence magazine, I get hit by a car. Physically, not in my mind. I got hit by a car and thrown 33 feet across, was knocked unconscious for half an hour. To this day, I don't know who saved me. The leg I stand on, the bones came out. It took me 2 years to walk again. You see, while I faced prejudice in Trinidad, I now was facing physical trauma. And that wasn't my first accident. The first accident was in Trinidad when I got thrown from a car. Somebody is trying to take me out. But heaven clearly wasn't ready for me because somebody kept on saving me. I had a bigger purpose. My real trauma for me came a little over 4 years ago. I hadn't told a lot of my friends this. I had my 3rd child, and it was so traumatic. Instead of doing an emergency C-section horizontally, they had to do a vertical C-section on me. Her hand was coming out first. We were in distress. I would have lost my life if they didn't do that. But the worst was yet to come. She was 4 pounds, 14 ounces, 5 weeks early. I couldn't move from the waist down. Have you ever been in a position where you're seeing people sticking needles in your feet? You just had your 3rd baby, and you cannot move from the waist down. After all the crap that's happened to you, now this. The trauma broke my body. Where it was my mind and my spirit, now it's my body. So how did I overcome that? It was pure mindset. And today I'm telling you, there's a lot of people right now walking through their lives every single day. They think about all the nonsense that they go through, how they're going to overcome it. And I've just pretty much summed it up into one reality. One, you have to change your environment. There are people who are speaking out, women who have a voice, and there are people who are constantly silencing you because you are standing in the wrong room. That room is not for you, but you keep on holding on to it because they're not ready for you. Change your environment. 2, educate yourself. Reading, self-educating, whether it be YouTube, whether it be, whatever find way that you could imagine to educate yourself, that is how you grow. Networking. I'll tell you, I'm part of organizations today where there are women empowering other women. They are inspiring you, empowering you. They're elevating you. They're promoting you for who you are. You have to learn to change your social circle. You see, the problem with growing up in Trinidad, and I'm not saying all of Trinidad was bad, is that the people who I associated myself with were toxic. And this can be on your job. This could be in your personal life. You have to be able to turn that around. Travel. You won't believe that that's become my outlet. Because when you travel, you are exposed to things, people, and places that you never thought was even possible. And you realize your struggle is somebody else's struggle halfway across the world. You just are not hearing about their story. So those are some of the things that was able to help me overcome it. 2 instances that I realized that we have a strength within us, right in front of us that we don't see. One was entertainment and one was my parents. Remember my little petite mom? She one day wanted to renovate our house so bad. My dad refused to renovate our house even though our family was growing. One day, I came home and we had a huge hole in the wall. Guess what my mother did? You see, what I thought was an alpha, I was completely wrong about. Because that was an alpha. She took action. She took a sledgehammer and she bust the wall out. And when my dad came home and he was like, what's going on here? Well, we needed to get the house renovated, so here you go. Guess what ended up happening? Full renovation. The loan was taken out, we had the materials, we were good to go. My next instance, there's a specific scene in Captain Marvel. If you are not a Marvel fan, I cannot hang with you. Just understand that. I grew up on X-Men, I grew up on Superpower, you name it. But Captain Marvel is a woman. She is the most powerful Avenger. But there's a point in the episode where she got captured. Sorry, spoiler alert. She was captured by the people who she thought were the good guys. And all they told her, they had brainwashed her into thinking that whenever she fell in life, whether it be in her childhood, her teenage years, as an adult, she could not get up. But during captivity, she realized there was another half to her story. She started remembering. She started remembering who she was, what she was capable of, what she can possibly do. She started remembering when she was a child and she fell down on her knees, she got back up, but they didn't show her that. When she was a teenager and somebody broke her heart, she got back up, but they didn't teach her that. As an adult, she made mistakes, but she kept going. At that point in time, you saw her whole body lit up and it was fiery and she was glowing of fire. She was like a blaze angel. And let me tell you, instead of trying to fight with her enemies, they started running because she was that powerful. Doesn't that sound like us? We've been fed all the lies. Somebody wants you to be this person, somebody wants you to be that person, somebody wants you to walk this way, talk this way, think this way. Somebody's jealous of you because of how you look. You didn't get to choose what you look like, what ethnicity you're a part of. I didn't get to choose dark chocolate. I love it now. The characteristics of an alpha is confidence. For women, since this is a women's conference, I'm going to tell you a quick tip. Invest in a darn good bra. And whether you want to believe me or not, a bra helps with your poise. Some of us have boobs this big, some of us were blessed with speed bumps. Okay? But it changes your whole dynamic. Confidence. When you can stand and look an executive in his face when he's threatening your job, like I did, and he said, if you don't do it this way, I'm going to find somebody who does. And guess what I told that man? I calmly turned around, I looked him in the eye, and I said, it is 100% your prerogative to do so. It was at that point I found myself. I understood who this woman is, what I'm capable of. Because having the alpha within is finding your voice, finding your strength. It is that boldness, that courage that most people lack. I am here to tell you that this year is a year of women empowerment. And it is time for us women to rise and shine. It really is time because we've been sitting back too long. So I'm going to ask each and every single one of you, who's ready to have your alpha come out? Who's ready?